Caution lights go out. We go racing out of turn 4 the next time by 30 laps the distance. Donnie Schatz and Danny Lasowski in the front row. Mark Kinzer and Terry McCarl in row 2. Joey Saldana, Paul McMahon, Stevie Smith, Steve Kinzer, Jason Myers, Craig Delansky, Sammy Swindell, Jeff Shepard, Brad Furr, Tim Schaefer, Randy Hannigan, Shawn Michael, Dennis Moore Jr., PJ Chesson, James Chesson, Chad Kemenow, Greg Hodnett, Shane Stewart, Kerry Matson, and Darren Pittman ready to do battle.
And Donnie Schatz, turn 1. Oh no, Donnie Schatz. And oh boy, big trouble, turns 1 and 2.
Oh, green flag flying, we're underway. Into turns 1 and 2, Mark Kinzer down on the low side, Danny Lasowski, Delansky into the wall and upside down.
Or Mark Kinzer, Danny Lasowski lead him down the front straightaway.
Green flag racing once again. Lasowski on the bottom side of the speedway takes the lead. Here comes Mark Kinzer with momentum up on the cushion. Joey Saldana third. Terry McCarl fourth. Stevie Smith rounding out the top 5 as they race through 3 and 4.
Everyone nice and clean down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Field shuffles out. Danny Lasowski, Mark Kinzer, Joey Saldana. That's how it is the first lap.
Lasowski with the lead going down the back straightaway. Battle for the 4th spot now. Stevie Smith on the high side of the speedway, reeling in the Sander Engineering 24 of Terry McCarl. McCarl down low, Smith up on the cushion.
Danny Lasowski now starting to stretch out a little bit of a lead on the 5M of Mark Kinzer. Lasowski up on the cushion. Mark Kinzer continues to run down low through turns 1 and 2.
Stevie Smith able to get by Terry McCarl. Smith moves up to 4th. McCarl runs 5th. Then it's Paul McMahon in 6th. Jason Myers 7th. Here comes Tim Schaefer on the high side of the speedway. Remember, Schaefer was 2nd fastest during the warm-up session earlier this evening. He makes the pass of Jason Myers into turn number 2. Tim Schaefer has moved up into the 7th spot.
Terry McCarl has gone back by Stevie Smith for the 4th spot. McCarl to 4th, Stevie Smith back to 5th.
Schaefer, the fastest car on the speedway right now, the Vibrant 11H up on the cushion in turns 1 and 2, makes the pass of Paul McMahon to take over 6th.
Up front continues to be Danny Lasowski, about a half a straightaway lead on Mark Kinzer. A little further back, the 83 of Joey Saldana, the 24 Terry McCarl, and Stevie Smith rounds out your top 5.
Lasowski working the bottom side in turns 3 and 4, has been running the high line in 1 and 2. Completing lap number 6 with a 1.5 second lead over Mark Kinzer. Joey Saldana continues to run 3rd. Terry McCarl 4th and Stevie Smith 5th. Paul McMahon has gotten back by Tim Schaefer for 6th.
Your leader is now getting very close to lap traffic, as Danny Lasowski now edging up on the 22 of James Chesson.
Lap traffic about to come into play. Should be interesting to find out who has the better car in traffic, who handles better. Mark Kinzer trying something a little different. The low line in 1 and 2, it worked well for him. Closing in on the JD Byrider car number 20L.
And as they now get very close to lap traffic, Dennis Moore Jr. is up on the cushion. Danny Lasowski that time low through turns 3 and 4. Lasowski now takes it to the bottom in 1 and 2. Mark Kinzer follows right along the bottom.
Kinzer slid up into the slick part of the speedway, lost a little ground entering turn number 2. Sammy Swindell makes the move around Jason Myers, the channel lock number 1 up to 8th.
Danny Lasowski now puts a lap on the 71 car. Dennis Moore Jr. now goes back to the cushion in 1 and 2. Mark Kinzer follows him around the high side. Joey Saldana 3rd. Terry McCarl having a strong performance in 4th. Stevie Smith 5th. Paul McMahon 6th. Tim Schaefer 7th. Sammy Swindell 8th. PJ Chesson 9th. And Jason Myers rounds out your top 10.
Into some heavier traffic now. Lasowski's lead 9/10 of a second over the Mopar 5M of Mark Kinzer.
As Lasowski works lap traffic, the 5M of Kinzer now closes. Look at Mark, has a strong run coming out of turn 4. The gap narrows once again.
Into 1 and 2, Lasowski trapped by a slower car on the bottom side of the speedway. Can't make his way by the 22 of James Chesson. Mark Kinzer now reeling in the dude down the backstretch. Lasowski up to the high side. Mark Kinzer tries the middle in turns 3 and 4.
Lasowski with cars on the inside and the outside right in front of him now, tries to duck under the lap car, James Chesson. Lasowski puts Chesson a lap down, Mark Kinzer now a little further back. Lasowski now shoots to the inside, Darren Pittman puts Pittman a lap down.
Danny Lasowski working extremely well in traffic. That may have been one of the moves we'll talk about at the end of the race that sealed the deal, being able to split Chesson and Pittman like that. Mark Kinzer still unable to cope with those two lap cars as Sammy Swindell tries the high line around PJ Chesson into turns 1 and 2. That is the battle for the 8th spot.
And as Lasowski hits the flag stand halfway home, 15 laps down, 15 to go for your leader, Danny Lasowski.
Tim Schaefer again moving forward in the Vibrant 11H, right on the back bumper of Stevie Smith's Ingersoll Rand number 19, racing for 5th.
Well, look at Mark Kinzer now splits between the lap cars of James Chesson and Darren Pittman as Mark Kinzer continues his pursuit of Danny Lasowski around the high side of the speedway.
Great 3-car battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th between Stevie Smith, Tim Schaefer, and Paul McMahon. McMahon ducks to the inside of the Vibrant 11H. They race wheel to wheel into turns 3 and 4.
As Danny Lasowski got a little out of shape trying to put a lap on the 8H of Shane Stewart. No lap cars now separating Danny Lasowski in second place, Mark Kinzer, as they work through turns 3 and 4.
McMahon and Schaefer continue their duel side by side down the back straightaway. The race is for 6th. Schaefer up on the cushion, McMahon down on the low side of the speedway. McMahon able to hang on to the spot as they race into turns 1 and 2. Lasowski still down low. Kinzer trying the middle of the speedway out of turn number 4. Still about 10 car lengths separating the top 2.
Lasowski now goes below Greg Hodnett, puts a lap on the 12H car. As they're now 1 lap car separating the top 2. Oh, a spin right in front of your leader. Oh, Danny Lasowski nips past.
No yellow. The track stays green as Jeff Shepard does a 360. Kerry Madsen now stopping here on the front straightaway to bring out the caution. Lasowski looking for his 2nd Nationals Championship victory, and the green flag flies were back underway.
Lasowski goes right to the bottom. Mark Kinzer in heavy lap traffic tries to get between the cars of Pittman and Shepard down the backstretch.
Paul McMahon, Tim Schaefer, and Stevie Smith continue their battle. Terry McCarl in that mix as well.
As you now see Terry McCarl right up behind the 83 car, Joey Saldana. That's the battle for 3rd. As Mark Kinzer makes his way past Jeff Shepard on the inside of the speedway, still with 3 lap cars separating he and Danny Lasowski.
McMahon again to the high side of the speedway out of turn number 2, takes a spot from Tim Schaefer, but gets caught up behind the lap car of Chad Kemenoff. Now negotiates Kemenoff's machine out of turn number 4, still keeping Schaefer back in the 6th spot.
Stevie Smith now puts a move on Terry McCarl coming out of turn 2. McCarl holds him off. That's the battle for 4th. As McCarl and Stevie Smith battle for 4th, Paul McMahon right there in 6th, and Tim Schaefer up on the cushion in 7th.
McMahon able to move by Stevie Smith into the top 5. Tim Schaefer trying to get by the Ingersoll Rand number 19 as well. Schaefer down low, makes the slide job attempt, but can't pull it off in turn number 4.
Danny Lasowski with about a half a lap lead as, oh, look at turns 3 and 4. The channel lock number 1 as Sammy Swindell slows. As Sammy Swindell slows in turn 4. And yellow flags will fly as the channel lock number 1 as Sammy Swindell slows to a stop in turn 4. Or keep your eye on the cone on the front straightaway. Lasowski leads him down into turn 1. As Mark Kinzer has a lot of work to do in the next 5 laps as he's going to catch Danny Lasowski. Kinzer slides up. Now puts a lap on Darren Pittman.
Stevie Smith around Terry McCarl to take over the 4th spot. Now going to try to grab 3rd from Joey Saldana, but McCarl a strong run off the bottom of the speedway, side by side, wheel to wheel into 1 and 2.
Stevie Smith now goes to high side, takes 4th from Terry McCarl, sets his sights on 3rd place Joey Saldana.
Jason Myers running the top side of the speedway, passing Paul McMahon into turn number 4. Hot foot Jason Myers now up into the 6th spot. McMahon gets a run off of turn number 2, moves back by the Eagle Raceway's car number 20. Lasowski clearly in command of this one.
As the battle now for 4th goes into turn 1, Terry McCarl on the inside. Stevie Smith runs through the middle, and Smith overtakes the 4th position. McCarl back to 5th. Paul McMahon still 6th.
White flag flying half a mile to go. Danny Lasowski negotiates turns 1 and 2 on the very bottom of the speedway. Battle's continuing back in the pack, but down the backstretch they go. Lasowski down low in 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 41st running of the Amoco Ultimate Knoxville Nationals, the dude, Danny Lasowski.
Danny, that race, you had yourself a different partner beside you for the restart of that race. Donnie Schatz got taken out early, but Mark Kinzer gave you quite a battle right at the corners. But man, you checked up and went.
Well, I tell you what, I don't really know why he took off so early. Doug Clark told us to take off over at the Goodyear side. He took off early. He went into 1 and rolled a left rear tire off. It wasn't his fault, and he lost it. It's a heartbreaker. I know we probably had a good race, but hey, that'd take nothing away from my Eagle chassis. JD Byrider, Ham America, America Press Steel, Massey Motorsports, Hoosier Tires. Paul Kissler builds a great engine, and Phil Durst, everybody helped us out, and we couldn't be here without my man Tony Stewart. I tell you what, he believed in us, put us a team together, and this is the dividends we pay, and I owe it all to him.
Danny, during that red flag, you guys did change gears. I did not have a chance to ask you, taller or lower?
We went a little taller than we were. We didn't know how it would be, and as you all know, the catfish likes to run the bottom, so we want to make sure we can get around there.
Sounds great. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up! Danny the